musicians, there's creators who see their work either being emulated or duplicated by artificial intelligence. Because if you put it online, and these systems and these services are able to build these large capture systems that can look at everything on the internet over a couple of months or years. So these are the services that Microsoft and Google and other third-party systems build. That doesn't mean that you can't put anything on the internet, but what it means is now more than ever, copyright and protecting your intellectual property is a commodity. So the idea is we are also in charge of the system that can hurt us. And that's really the part we want to just impart. We don't want you to do that. And the second part is we don't want you to replace authentic human storytelling. And storytelling is more than just writing. It's songs, it's relationships, it's building with other people. Now, could you, with any modicum of skill and talent, have 7 different AI systems open at the same time and pretty much build anything at this point? Yes, you can if you put that much time and effort into it. But what you're probably doing is you're missing out on 6 relationships with other people that you could be having to build your long-term business. Now, there's a bet, and it's going to happen. Someone's going to make $1 billion. Someone is going to make $1 billion company, and it's just going to be them. There's going to be one person in our lifetime that's going to have a company that's only technology, and they're going to be a billionaire. That's probably going to happen. I would suggest probably the next 3 to 5 years at the very least. That's long. Somebody's going to build something with just computers and not have any employees, no building, nothing. But the idea is that equitable? Is that right? Is that fair? The idea is you need people. Don't let AI fool you to think that you don't need people. That's the part that's trying to part here. The third thing is misinformation. If you go to any of these services that we're about to use, either on their facts or at the bottom of the screen, they tell you that these systems don't know the truth from reality, right? The truth from fiction, excuse me. So misinformation is very easy. Just because it came out of one of these systems does not make it right. Even if it says it cites its sources, you've got to cite the sources. So this doesn't say that misinformation is at all-time high. Everyone's heard of the word deepfake? What does that mean? No worries. Oh, well, they don't. I'm here to tell. So deepfake simply means that it's something that's completely fictitious and untrue, but you can't tell the difference, right? So the idea of a politician, saying something that's completely wrong or racist or sexist, and they didn't say it, but I could go online and I can make that. I can take some snapshots of them, put it into a video generator, and have them walking in this room right now saying whatever I want them to say. And then I just put it on social media. That's a deep fake, right? Or I can make 50 different websites that say this is the truth. And then when you do a Google search, it looks at those 50 websites, and now it's the truth, at least to you, right? And so we see misinformation like that with things like COVID and vaccines, around politics for sure, around celebrities. But the idea is that these systems are built that it's going to be harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not. So misinformation is a big thing when we look at artificial intelligence. But we can just make things up, and it's so good and so real and so fast. If you're not trained or not even trained, even the trained people don't know. So I'll be clear on that. It's hard to know misinformation from information these days. And so the idea is we don't want to use AI to generate misinformation in any fashion. And just simple point, you just don't want to be unethical or damaged. Because right now everything is wide open, and that's why it's exciting to be in this room with you all. Because anyone here could leave with the modicum of knowledge that we'll get here, and you can be the next, innovator in AI. No one has this. No one owns it. It's like the early internet. Everything is open right now. So that's why I encourage people, don't be scared. At least just try. And what you don't try and don't know, just connect with others. And this is the time to do it. But what you don't want to do is be damaging or unethical in that space. So that is my little spiel on that. We're going to get to this GPT. So if you have a laptop, go ahead and make sure that you all have access to your internet while we're just opening for any quick questions or feedback on this part. And then we'll go ahead and look at getting started on this. thoughts, considerations, online or here around artificial intelligence?
We have questions? Yes.
Not yet. It's okay. That's quite all right. They're coming, and I will. So,
You can have online questions. Probably you can ask them if you have questions.
of course. Oh, thank you. And so, and I appreciate everyone online. I'm able to see you all. If you have any questions, if you want to put them in the chat, I'm happy to make sure that we are keeping this as a open collaborative space.
So the chats, when you ask what things, it's this level, what
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. All right. So I think we're on our next. Let's see. Yeah, I'm thinking that we're just sharing the presentation. There we go. Yeah, there's also get it back from here. Thank you. Thank you. So let's see if we all can go to OpenAI and ChatGPT. So show of hands, and it can be online as well. Who's used OpenAI, used your services before? ChatGPT, right? Anyone have none? And if not, that's fair. That's fair. Thank you. So the idea is, thank you, thank you. Let's see a raised hand here. Thank you. There, let's see if I can get to the space to see if there's a question online. See someone raise hand, but if not, no, I didn't see any questions. You can unmute if you need to. All right, we'll try to hold it here. All right, so there are two things that we should definitely make sure that you all are great at before we leave here. Yeah, okay. So two things we want to make sure that you all are good at least making your own GPT and being able to prompt. We're going to fix those two, if nothing else. We're going to have some time to do our game design document through AI. So all of this will be good points, but just what I think will just be fair life skills to be able to take out of here would be able to use what's a widely available service, being ChatGPT, and also being able to understand how to get the best response out of it will be the things that we'll work on now. Right? And so, we can go through the formalities and space of it, but really since GPT or generative pre-trained transformer, it just simply gives humanistic responses. So we don't have to overthink any of this stuff. It just means that the computer talks to you like how I'm talking to you. It may use ad hominems. It may again emulate like there's someone else on the other side of the screen. And it's getting better and better at that. We think of chat bots, right? When you're trying to make a payment online or you're waiting on customer service, before they were just very general and robotic. Now they can use your name. Now they can maybe geolocate where you are and say, how's the weather in Lagos, right? The idea is like these systems are learning, building, and acting more and more like people. Again, back to misinformation, or at least the idea that it's hard to tell when you're dealing with technology, when you're dealing with a person. So the idea is that we want to make sure that this is a usable space for research. What we're going to be using it for is for us to research our game idea. We're here to talk about games and how we can use gaming in any capacity to do this. But keep in mind the skill set can work for anything. So we wanted to start in a good and general space of just being able to get this. And if you're let's say, I'm going to send this to everyone as well. So again, don't feel like you got to copy all these points. Feel free to take pictures, what have you. But I'm going to also make sure there's a space that we send all this stuff in more deeper documentation. I know we're working through several different spaces at the same time. So the idea here, we're going to walk through this. So to say if folks have their Computers, does everyone want to go to open AI? Let's see
Okay,
if I,
you want us to open it?
yes, so let us please open open AI. Right. All right, we're just gonna give this a minute or so. I'm gonna stop the share just for a second as I pull it up on my end. Give folks an opportunity to come in, and we're gonna put that put the walkthrough in. I'm gonna see if there's also like a direct link that I can put for folks just in case they may not be able to see my screen or something there. So I'm just gonna create that really quick. One moment. And again, if there's any questions or anything, feel free to come along and see if I can just walk right through it from there. My own bench. Yes, sir.
Mentioned something about that.
A vet, like the betting service or betting systems.
You said that, the next, but it's most of it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, there is a vet among most of the AI leadership programs like Anthropic, OpenAI. There's like it's a not so secret bet. Yes, that
Say, that someone in the next couple of years will build $1 billion business.
that's right.
And it doesn't be fair. No.
No, like monetary reward for being the first person to do so. To clarify.
Yeah, it wouldn't have any employees. It would just be one person sitting behind a computer somewhere and has built a $1 billion business.
Yes.
All by itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I believe that. I believe that's probably in process as we speak. And I think it's just simply a model evaluation because when we think about the way that if we look at traditional VC or venture capitalist type businesses, businesses that are built to scale to be multi-billion dollar systems, they normally take multiple years of research that are done at universities. And then they normally have some skill or service that no one can duplicate because of time or money. And they have a market that can support it. The idea is that you can do all of that today, right? If you have the knowledge and don't necessarily have to be the best programmer, you don't have to be the best seller, you don't have to be the best in the best market, right? All these things that used to be the reason why people wouldn't have businesses that would be able to expand like that doesn't matter, right? So it just means that all of it's up for grabs and make sure I didn't lose power. It might. It's okay. Just to say that it's an open field right now. Like you could just be a telecom. You can be a one-person telecom. There you go. Just leave it a man. Thank you, sir. You could be a telecom company by yourself. You could outsource everything. You could subcontract all the people that go out and fix the houses that run the satellites that do all the stuff. Right. All you got to do, I mean, I don't want to speculate and don't be respectful of our time, but that to say, it's as easy as it's ever going to get right now. So that's the part of the shining part for people. And again, you don't have to be a billionaire. You could just unfortunately be a millionaire, right? So that's the unfortunate reality, right? That's the unfortunate reality we all have, and that's what I wish upon you, right? Is at the very least that be your worst case scenario. So let's get back to it. I want to go ahead and pull this up for us, and so yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to bring it to a general space for us. Thanks, sir. All right. So hopefully everyone's able to hear me. There we go. Thank you. Hope everyone's able to hear me. We'll go ahead and go back to sharing screen. Let's see if I can just keep it to, yeah, let's keep the screen. Thank you. All right. So based on where people are, your screen may or may not look like mine. That's okay. Because I mean, I'm using a paid version of ChatGPT. It's 4.0. If you don't have it, that's okay. You can still use the free version. We can still use the free version and make sure and just make sure that this is accessible to you. There's a change in the system. It's not you all's fault. If you've done this before and it's not working right now, what's happening is that the ability to build your own GPT is being moved up to a higher paid model. So if you weren't able to do it before, and now you can do it before, now you can't. That's a reason. That may be a reason why. This is an FYI. So what I'm at is chatgpt.com. Go right here to ChatGPT. Hello, hello. All right. All right. So we're on. So just to say, because you're seeing this thing here, like some of the other points, I'll go ahead and show you these 2 points here now. So being able to build basically your own transformer, it's a service in a system now, right? It's the idea of like basically being able to plug. What we're trying to do right now is just plug into the larger ecosystem that OpenAI and service systems have, so that artificial intelligence can be a part of whatever you're building. And so let's look at it. It can be things like Canva, which is going to be on my list of things that we want to use. These are people that are developing and designing them as a community. Most of these are going to be free programs, whether you're in writing, productivity, research, and analysis. A lot of people just come in and just type and just use it, and that's fine. But I just want to give you all just this space to understand that, we're talking about code. We were talking about tutoring earlier, like being able to use educational tools to learn how to code. If you want to be a coder and develop this stuff, again, you can build it. It goes all the way through. We've got music. We got how to play in a story as a developer. So I'm just trying to get you to understand, like you can be the person that's building all of these components into your business venture, say game venture, as we're here in the gaming component, through these GPTs. And so it's basically a workshop, or really more of a resource space, like an app store within GPT. Trying to get the right general parable they're thinking. So we're going to go ahead and make one. You literally, all you got to do is hit create. Right? It wasn't this easy a little bit ago, but now we're just going to simply go through it. And so give everybody a minute as they're looking through and through it.
So, what I have.
You don't have it? Please go ahead.
Is this just
That's okay.
Don't
have this component. That's fair. All right. Well, that slide will show you how to get it when you get that paid version, which is like US. And so no worries. Just want to at least just show you all how it's done. So at least we got it documented. And again, it's going to be more and more accessible. So right now, again, it had just moved to that paid version. It was I think if you go, I want to make sure I give you like an option. So you can try to see if, again, I'm going to go back to one. Right. So we'll see if any of the earlier models, you can check here to see if you have access to any earlier models. If not, and you're on the free version, that's okay. No worries, it's coming to you. Or again, you can invest in this, which I would say would be a sound investment, and you'll be able to build and invest. Okay, if you just have a Gmail, you can just if you have a general Gmail account, you can just use that to sign in and sign up. I love Gmail as a general account. You'll see that on my list here in a moment. It's just a good practical way to stay signed in. It has security, and it works pretty much with everything. I'm sorry, you had a question or a comment? Okay. No worries. You can, we have time. Okay. All right. And I'm looking here. Can the slide be shared again? Okay, no worries. Let's go back to the slide just for one moment. And again, just to understand that all the slides and the additional resources will be shared with everybody. So no worries there. So I'm just going to share this slide really quick, just so everybody can see it, and then give another moment, and then we'll go ahead and get started with this. So, I appreciate everybody's patience. So the slide here. So this is just general slides. If you want to take a moment, just take a snapshot of it. These are the instructions. Again, I'll be emailing this to everyone. So I just want to show you how the system works and how you can use it, but then how you can make it work for you. I think there's a difference, and we'll talk about that, right? So that's in the prompting that we'll talk about in a moment. All right. Give another 10 seconds, and then let's go ahead and actually use and build it. And if you're and there's no reason to not just use it as a general sense. Even though you're not building a GPT, you can still go to ChatGPT and type a similar point and prompt in. This is, again, a good experience and expertise that we could have real world interaction. But at the same time, just know that you want to be able to build and develop this as a life skill. but you're going to be doing this the rest of your life. So I think it would behoove you to just be in the practice of using it, right? So with that, I'm in GPT 4.0, right? So it's kind of our main one. Just going to my account. I'm going to go to my GPT. And what it's going to let me do is I get to create a custom GPT. And what is it going to say? And I'm going to actually let someone direct what we want to build. Imagine we're building a game company, right? We want to keep it in game. Think about what skill you have and what skill you wish you had, right? Who could be sitting beside you that would help you the most? Could it be a business developer? Could it be an artist? Could it be another person that's like you that you just want to bounce ideas off of? Right? And think specifically about the opportunities that you may be seeing here in Lagos, in Nigeria, in Africa, part of the African diaspora, that you may want to intersect or inject with it. And so this is the thing that we could build here. All right. So anyone thinking of who would be the ideal partner if you were trying to work on a video game right now? Game expert. Okay. Okay. Game developer. There we go. We're getting it there. Game developer. Anything else? All right, let me get a chat there, but we're going to keep it game developer. I think that's smart. That's good. You're saving some money. So let's get started. All right. Because the way that you said that and the way that we'll put it in is the second part that we will talk to. So that's exactly right. A game developer would help. You can never have enough game development, right? And so the idea is go back to my next slide, and this one will be one that we'll use, and then we'll go ahead and get started, right? And so presentation. Yep. So go ahead and present here. See if I can present in an autoplay. Turn that off. So I want you to start thinking as we get back to this of not just prompting, right? Because you gave a great prompt. Please act as a game developer, right? But I want you folks to start thinking of you creating a partner, not a prompt. So think specifically about who you may want to be beside you. How would you want them to act? What skills would you want them to have? So this system will do its best to emulate what you give it, but what you put in is what you get out. And that's not to say that simple things aren't simple or only simple, but you can get the right thing by just making a search. But what we want to do here, my screen sharing is paused. So I want to make sure that everybody, I'm going to go back to it. Just want to make sure everybody can see the screen. We'll get to the design document at part 2, but I just want to get us into a prompt and space here. Yeah. There we go. So hopefully everyone can see the screen now. Share screen. Thank you. Thank you, Dad. I appreciate you. All right, let's see. Share. One moment. Let's see. All right. So you also, there we go. Just want to make sure we got it for people online. And the idea of having to make it on both ends. We got it. Thanks for patience. All right, so we're going to try this one more time. We're going to try to share the screen. So I'm going to make an AI that is an audio-visual expert and just plug it into my computer. And then let me get back to that slide. Yeah. So this is what we want to do. We want you to get away from prompting, but we hear the idea of prompting engineering and these other components. We want you to just understand that the system's trying to understand you. And so there's opportunities in that, but in a good sense, that the way that you want to address the system is the best where you'll get your best case scenario. So what we said earlier, I want a game developer. So you can say, can you please write me, can you please create a game developer to help you with the game? It's going to give you a prompt. So let's think of it the way that this would read. Can you help me draft an executive summary for my business plan? Please use the following details. And then you're going into detail to say exactly what you want, how they should be addressing it, what do you want to accomplish, and what is their skill that they should have, right? Who's the competitors? Think of this as the same way you would think of a business plan. Think that you're hiring somebody. And so this is the idea that we're going to work on here today. And so again, it's just a difference of the way the system built the prompt. Is the more categories it has instilled, you get two things. One, you're going to get a more succinct response. But then two, you're going to give the system the best chance to not just take one answer. If it has to parse through 10 things, you're probably getting something closer to the truth for the best case scenario that you can work on.
You have to fold in all of those keywords.
That's a great question. No, this is just the outline, like the aspects, right? Let's kind of read through it. Like my business name is New Nigeria Gaming. You know, it's a gaming business that is unique in creating mobile applications for Nigerians 55 and over. Right? It's like you're just giving you those spaces. Think of it like filling. So those are just the way that you just want to be able to develop more of that conversational speed than just the Google search speed that we're all used to. That's it. But that's a good question, good call out. All right, so let's try it. All right, so you can get it. We did a couple of ways. All right, so I'm gonna put this down. If I can. Okay, no worries. We can make it happen. Don't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to turn it off. All right. So we're going to think about this. Let's answer a couple of quick things here. What kind of game do we want to make? And you don't have to do anything about gaming. Let's just talk. So we want a game developer, right? We said we want a game developer. What's important for a game developer? Okay. Putting some stuff up here. Just describing a person like that I would like to hire, right? So, right? Anybody just trying to think of some things. So I'm just putting a couple parts of just some items, right? So we're going to see how this thing goes, right? Right? See what I'm doing? I'm just all just adjectives. I'm trying to like describe the person I would want to work for me. Like a C# mobile friendly gaming Nigerian born traditional artist, hip hop fan, creative woman, right? That's who I love to hire to come work at New Nigeria Studios and build this next game, right? All right, so I'm not going to just press in. What I'm going to do is see if I can remember half what I just said here. I'm just right beside here. So, and then I'll raise the top. I normally do a defining statement. You are a world-class game developer for mobile Can't look at that for mobile gaming and chief technology technology officer for a new scaling startup. You have an expertise in C++. Yep. But yeah, you know what everything. You are a Nigerian woman, mid-20s, very savvy with culture, fashion, and traditional artist. And I think that's it. What's that? Is there a please said it, is there an advantage for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the sense that in our context in Nigeria, Lagos, there are a lot of churches, a lot of religious organizations, so I hope that be an advantage at this point.
Oh, that's a great question and a great intersection. I think understanding like based on where you are culturally, locally, could this be an advantage? Could this be an opportunity? It all depends on what you're trying to do after you hit send, right? It can definitely be an advantage because there's an opportunity of having with the developer. There is a opportunity if you're trying to have a designer that's designing, say, clothes for your fighting game, and they're designing the characteristics of that one. The hair, the fashion, the personality, the background, the story, all that may be better served by somebody that's have that as a lived experience. And so it can definitely be an advantage. And that's why we're building this in. But if I'm thinking about a hip hop fighting game that happens all around Lagos and has like localized responses, then this would be a person I would like to hire. It may not do me well to hire someone from Britain that's never been here, doesn't understand any of these components. So that's why I'm thinking of who would be the ideal person. So again, I can make 5 other of these, but that's a good question and point. The idea is to be as advantageous and as succinct as we possibly can with who we can start with at the start. And so as we develop this, we'll go through this and let us look at the next step, right? So this is a claim, right? So I normally would even type this much, but again, you want to give a couple of things. But the idea is this seems more like an ask than give me a developer. So the developer will make some generalized code, but this gives us a chance to make something that's a bit more responsive. That's it. Oh, and is there any other questions? Feel free to ping in the chat. We'll go ahead and get started here. Push that send. Now you get the fans. This thing is about to blow. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. And it's just gonna update us. You can see it's gonna give me a couple other prompts. Do this as a game. So we'll be able to design and develop a couple of things. Almost done. Okay. And now I get to name it. Right? Good. No, I mean that's good. Savvy game dev CTO. That's definitely someone I want to hire. Let's see. So okay, so how about we name it or localized personal name or something like that. Let's see. We'll just ask it to think of. I want to ask you to think of a just let us ask what would you name it? Or who would you name it?
Okay, you asking us?
Yes, I'm asking if we have the name of this account. This is a part of
How do you think about the CPO courses?
okay.
Like a person?
Can be, yes.
How about you?
David, you want to name David? David the Savvy Game CTO? What's that? You want to know? Yeah, would you like it to
I just make sure.
say that again?
David is not a woman.
All right, that's fair. All right. So we could ask it what would it like to name itself and see if it comes up with something.
So I think the question is asking, the role,
Yeah.
not the name.
Yeah, we can choose a name for the GPT, right? How about Savvy Game Dev CTO? Let me know if that works or something else. So I'm gonna do this. Let's see what happens. And then I'm in the best place to support a response. Let's see. So I'm gonna act like I'm a parent, right? And this Sanrio stuff keeps popping up. Let me get this over. All right, so please come up with a local, what's a provincial name, a province that, any province beside Lagos?
Province.
Or what you would consider like county or state, right? What's a local state? What's another local state? Spell that? Lucky, okay. A local name that has meaning in Lecky culture and history for a woman that is both adventurous and smart. Yeah, let's see. That's the point. This is, of course. That is the point. See? Right? Is this good? Does this make some sense? So this is where I want us to start going, right? Don't just say, you can say David. You can say, a name. But we have to, if you're gonna do this thing, you want to do this thing, right? You want it to, you're designing your partner. It's not that this is perfect, but the idea is if I'm sitting in America, I don't know if this is right or not. See, at least I'm getting some nods, some understanding that this works. This means that somewhere in the system that it has some type of connectivity.
It's interesting that actually you anything about Lekki.
Right, and that's it. I mean, it took a long time, right? I was asked ladies, is this for our ladies in the crowd of this scene? It's
already yeah, so and that's what's surprising me because I think you can make that just like most of the apps need to have before
all right. Thank you.
So you now go to the network model and way to do it is let me now
Thank you. Thank you. And what we've been saying here here at the spaces is that that there is of course a connotation behind what this means, and that we shouldn't be so surprised that GPT has some type of connectivity or understanding of what this is. But this is the part where we have to say but this could be absolutely wrong, and that's the part where I'm just trying to also make us always kind of to also be cognizant of this, particularly when there are things around Black, Indigenous, African culture. I mean, we don't know where this came from, right? We can say, how do you know, right? How did you know? I won't do that. I won't put it down that rabbit hole. We got time. Okay, that's right. Okay, there you go. So let's use this name. Thank you. I don't have to be proper, but I do. Okay, so we're going to use this, right? It should generate it as a name over there, and then we're going to create a profile. Let's see what happens. But normally it'll generate like some type of component. Of course, we have the capability to do art. I want to get us to the second part, which is being able to do the design doc. So at the very least, you're able to have these parts here. Okay. Little profile picture. Again, yeah. Does it have any connotations of meaning anything to anyone?
Yeah.
Because again, this is about as local as I ever see this. So please let me know. You know, do you like it? Any changes? Anyone have any changes? I'm open for it if so. But now, and how you pronounce this? Everyone. Okay. So now. Everyone. Okay. So the idea, so now I got my first employee, right? Or partner. Here we go. Then it's created. So I can make it for me. Make it anybody with this link can use it. We just make it anybody. That's fine. Why not? I can put it in the store. I don't think we're ready. I'm not ready for that. Because the idea is that I want it to be a little bit more concise. And there's a way to go in the back end and add material. You can like put in like your own documents into this and it'd be part of that connotation. We're not going to have time to do that now, but I just wanted to at least just get us to where you can see where this is a start, right? So let's go ahead and we'll just say anybody with a link. Y'all interested in a link? I'm happy to give it to you, but I'd rather you make it. So it's mine, no more special than yours. It's just my prompt name didn't start, but now let us ask for some work. And we will get to it. And then it looks just like its own custom ChatGPT, right? And so it's going to have some defaults that will be around the space here. I can optimize the code or some ways Blender can generate this code, trying to debug, and I'm trying to blend traditional art modern game. So I'm going to ask it really simple. And I close this. I'm just going to ask you for some general code, just so you all can see that it can be general code. And then I want to get us to our next phase. So we've got about 40 minutes to make sure the game design. And again, we can spend all day, as you're seeing, just on this point. But this is a powerful tool. You can just get started here and be able to just use and utilize the GPTs as a conventional sense, particularly when you start automating them. And then this is where you really get the capabilities to start building yourself. So thank you. Well, I'm just going to ask for a simple, I want to ask you something simple. Okay, so we're going to say, you give me a code library for the best. Let me say, what's a popular game here? We'll say for build. We'll say we're going to build a FIFA mobile game clone using Yoruba. Let's say Yoruba folklore as players. And it's just something that's generally made up, right? Right? It's just going to start. And as we go through the slide, which again, we're going to power through. But the idea is that it's already going to just start giving me like what the game design is going to need. And then it's going to start breaking this thing down. And this is what we're trying to at least get it to do as a start, right? So like it's actually going to start writing some of these the statistics for the characters that we just asked it to build. And so again, right now we don't know what we need to do. The idea is that we can copy the code, at least we have it as a space that we can utilize. And so it's making characters that fast, right? And so we can let this go and then we'll let it go for just a minute, just so again, everybody can see that this is a component. You need smart people like my guy Oscar back here in Africama K, which is actually on my slide, which is cool. So I'm glad y'all showed up. So the idea is that you need humans, right? It's easy before you couldn't do this. Right? This is crazy. The fact that it's just going to write a lot of the coding and logic that's going to be more cut and paste. But I just did this just talk with you all. But it's a general idea that I just made up here on the spot. So the idea is that you get this capability now. So now what you do next is the next thing we'll talk about. So I'm going to let this run for a minute, and once it gets through that end, we can look at what other options we can do. Of course, we could be adding in and attaching files that could help navigate the part of that information system that it's got. If I have like particular images or components that I want to put into this, I'm just adding it in. It's just like a stone soup. You start with one thing, keep adding, you put some flavor here, you put some seasoning here, you get a new component. Eventually, this thing is going to build out this program. And there's other ones, and again, sorry. What's that? Yeah, I did say stone soup, and I apologize. I hope everyone's able to still hear me, in their faces. But just wanted to show these components here where Ariwa has written like the core component code for stance, the movement, how the magic and the logic works, and how the teams form. And so, where again, as a layperson, this may not mean anything, but as a developer, this is saving time, right? It's told me what systems I need to use. Which right now, there's Unity, C#. You're seeing C++. So thought maybe this might be in Unreal, but for Unity, being C#, it's giving you like the keys to get something built. And so that's all we can ask you to do. Could we continue on with this and have it start developing more? Yes. And then another one, like we could use that graphic to build what you call an artifact, which is actually a playable versions of this stuff, which we'll see. It'll be in the handout you go. But I just want to just show how now I have this part. So I want to make this open ended. What would you ask next? I'm not going to ask. I'm going to ask someone in the crowd, or let's say online. But I've been very thankful to be here, here in the spaces. But for anyone on any of our Zoom folks, what would be the next question you would ask everyone? So now you have this amazing employee that's able to do this. So I'd love to just get somebody in the chat to ask the next question. What would be the next thing you would ask? And if we don't have something in the next 30 seconds, it's okay. We'll retain back here. But here from my local folks, if y'all want to think about what would be the next thing you would ask. If you don't know anything else, and I'll hold us here. Do you have a question? Do we have a response for the next prompt? I just want you all just to be able to see what could happen next before we step on. No worries. I know we have a lot of folks, and again, a lot of opportunities here, so I'm thankful for it. Let's take a question. What would you ask next?
Thanks,
Perfect. There you go. I'm gonna literally type that and then see what happens. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is we don't know what to do here. What do we do next? And let's take a minute. I'm gonna speak like I would. I have no idea what you just said. I need this to be a bit more actionable for me as the CEO of our business. What should I do from here? This is something I would say. No. So there you go. So now, as the CEO, they give me a breakdown of what I need to do to make this thing go forward. Right? So it's saying, and again, this is where you get a chance to assign these roles. If I wanted to think as a chief technology officer, not as a CEO. So it's telling me as a CEO, this is what I need to do, right? So I was going to say, I got a vision in the audience that's on me, build a development team, tell me exactly who I need, what I need to do next is start that playable prototype, right? It's telling me what character I could start with, which is Songo. Then I see, oh.
Still on the slide.
Still on slides? Okay. Let's see, we're gonna keep sharing, and thank y'all. We got it, so let's see if we get it here. And I'll go back up, make sure. Again, I'll make this as a component of this. So. Right, so now it's giving me my marketing strategy, telling me how to test. Right, and now it's got a nice summary at the end, tell me exactly what I need. Okay, there you go. And now it's talking to me, asking me, do I need help with the draft as the game design document, which is the thing about doing next, or if I need more detailed breakdown specifics. Right, so it gave me told me to go to TikTok, it told me to get a beta testing strategy, work on my pitch deck. Like these are the things I should do. Right, so at least it gave me that component. And yeah, so all of that from just putting this part, right? I didn't if this because I've set very well up to understand like the questions that I'm asking, like from what context. Now we're saying, okay, you're not here for code, you're here to run business. So you handle the business part. So these are parts I could go out and do, right? So all this stuff is actionable. It's telling me to hire contracts and you develop 3D artists. It's giving me my whole roadmap, right? And then I'll take one more here local. What would you say next? And then what I do really game design. Yes. Anybody else? What would you say? You can just say thank you. Good night. Right? I mean, you don't have to sit here and do this thing all day long. That's the other part. You have to do the human side as well, like on the show.
We ask you to put together an action model. It's really used for securing funding.
Okay, how much funding do we need? How much funding do you want?
Let's just assume that we want 40 million.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, and I appreciate that, Naira. So what we're going to do is now ask it for a financial model. Now, keep in mind that I'm sure it's going to give us an answer, but also think that we set this up as a chief technology officer, not as a financial advisor. It doesn't mean it won't happen, and we're going to do it anyway, because it's still the computer. So we don't want to be so fantastic that we don't ask it what we needed to ask. It's still going to be able to answer it through GPT. It's just the idea of like you're training this at the same time. So that's just the idea of thinking of it as a person. You can ask a technology person a financial question. That's fine. It won't harm it. It won't mess it up. But keep in mind on the back end, you're building a model for it to start thinking through. So the more that you will say take it off task, you might see things change. More than likely not. But it depends on all what you're doing. So just as a caveat, but let's do that. But it's perfectly fine. Okay. And I'm gonna talk just like I would talk. Okay, we need money. I think you said 40 million. Naira would do it. I know you're not the money guy. What a money lady. Pronouns, right? No, I know you're not the money lady, but this is Nigeria. So be specific about how we can get our business model in place and get the funding we need. Keep in mind, we need to incorporate our business first to get the loan we need. Does that sound right? Okay. All right. So I'm trying to put some local connotation into this as well, right? So we're telling them to deal with Naira. You gotta be mindful that this is Nigeria and that we need to get our business model in place and we need to incorporate our business. So what I'm saying is, how do you incorporate a business in Nigeria with the right business model so we can get 40 million Naira? Does that sound right? Yeah. So, but that's where again, just wanting to train it to do it. Let's see what happens. So you're seeing it, right? So it's going to tell me, I need a well thought out business model, a strategic approach. Right now, I'm going to try asking. So is corporate affairs commission a real thing? Okay, anybody here incorporated a business before? All right, is it an easy or hard task?
Well, it's easier now.
Easier now, okay. Getting easier? That's fair, okay. That's right. And so, again, this is me as the layperson, not understanding. Does the incorporation fee sound like between 10K and 50K higher?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a business model. So you know how to make money with this thing. Let's give you the research so you can make your business case. Okay, now it's giving you a funding strategy. All right. The Bank of Industry a real thing? Okay, so we don't have that in the States. That's why, again, I'm glad I've got a direct source to see what this is, right? And so it seems like it's Access Bank has a creative sector loan. Y'all heard of that? Right? And then we got Future Africa. I mean, this seems like it's for a tech person. Did they coming up with a good opportunity?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's going to be robust. So again, just back to that point. It's not that it would be like, oh, I don't know, I'm a tech guy. So that's why I just wanted to say like it's not so literal that it won't answer your question because it's still the same underpinning, of course, being that OpenAI source. But it will give you what you ask of. And that's the thing, we're just trying to train the system to do that most important. Thank you. Yes. I tell you what, I'm gonna let you hold the mic since it's local, and then we'll get all of us to get to that next phase. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My question is based on an experience I had while I was working in a consulting firm that using AI, there are dangers based on the company's ethics, like the industry ethics. You cannot disclose information
Mhm.
to a system like ChatGPT or Perplexity, something like that.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the danger of, I mean, the legal danger concerning this idea that the area has given us now
Hmm.
and it not being protected?
That's a great question. Let me give a point to that and just to clarify. So based on the information that we're seeing here now, you're saying like what's the opportunity for protection against personal information and other components there. And I'm gonna put an ad. How much of this do we now own? Does it sound like a 1A and 1B we can answer? So one, keep in mind that for these systems, that these are closed systems. So meaning like they won't have any personal information that you don't add or put as an addendum. There should be safeguards against that, but at the same time, everything's a safeguard, right? We all use our bank card, and then 6 months later, there's a breach that tells you your security, your information may have been hacked. Meaning there's a perpetual system that the opportunity for your personal information to get out is just a reality. If you interact with any of this technology, there's always going to be that 0.0 infinitum 0.1% that something happens. Systems like this, it only takes in what you put in. So that means like that's why you get to add in information. We would take it that you wouldn't add anybody's personal information to do stuff. The same way that most of these systems are built on personal information, but you never know. So that's you kind of just have to say that's a caveat of artificial intelligence, right? You don't know where that information comes from. We don't know how it knew Shango or knew Eriwa or knows about the about Nithim, right? All of this stuff says that it just knows, right? Because it's this big model of data, meaning like it gets it from anywhere and everywhere, and so that's a concern. But it's just it's a reality. Using same way that you would think of the traditional internet, I think it's probably the best way to pin that. Two, how much of this do you own? That's an open-ended question. So the answer is you don't own any of this, but that means that nobody owns this. So I mean, this is a template to think of it that way. It's general. It's the same way you would be opening Microsoft Word and putting in your own work. Now, can you go somewhere and create some legal document off of this? It definitely has a template to, but you still have to be able to do the legalese component of that. And that's something we have on our last slides. That you still have to go through the same legal application. You're still responsible for what you do with these things. Like what we said earlier, we try to set the rules for the road. You don't want to do anything unethical or disingenuous or steal or take from anybody, right? So could I go and copy a book and then have it rewrite it and then go sell it on the street? You could, but you shouldn't, right? So we also have to make sure that as these tools are developed, we're doing our best. And so, but this,
I thought that you said two.
yes,
But that one be
what does one be for the intellectual property, right? I mean, well, we just picked Yoruba culture for the players in the game. That's that's open domain. But like if you had your own personal story that you were putting in, you wrote your own book, you have your own characters, then maybe you can use as a template to then take the next steps for something that's intellectual property, right? I mean, you can use this concept is open, right? You could go make this game right now. I wouldn't have any charge to it. But it's because you did the work, you did the labor, you did the human parts of it. Even if you cut and paste out the code, you still got to fix the code. You still have to go sell it. You still have to go. Somebody has to want it. You have to have people invest and involved in it. So then it becomes your business. So again, this is an idea. Ideas that you see are easy.
Million in the next 6 months, I see you getting like this with parallel with someone.
There you go. Well, I'd be proud to say that, I helped start something out there. You could say, a good drink of my choice. I'd be happy. That's all you can do. I mean, we're in the information age. I don't have a special computer. I don't have any secret access. $20, you can do this, right? This is what we're trying to say. Everybody. And so, again, we're saying these are skills and services. I want to make sure y'all know how to do. We've got about 20 minutes left. I do want to just again keep the chat open and appreciate everybody here, but just wanted to show y'all just two critical pieces, right, of this is that this system, and then we just focus on open AI. There's hundreds of them. I like, and I'll show you one that I like. That'll be part of the slides. But this one, because it's so big, robust, and Microsoft's directly involved in this one, like this isn't going anywhere. This will probably be around for a bit. Right? So that's why I use OpenAI as a general point from any paid promotion or knowing anybody. But let's get back to the track. Right? So let's get us here. Any questions before we move on? So we're gonna take about 10 minutes. Now, the second thing I want you all to do on your computer, and this one everyone should have access to. We just showed how easy it is to at least get the concept of what you need to do to build a game. Right? We talked about gamification. We talked about and showed how AI can help you navigate the starting questions. But now, to the point, you need a game of your own. You need something that helps communicate your business idea. Add some research, add some visualization, that if you walked up to someone and said, hey, I want to build a game, this is what you would do. Right? And not even build a game. I would like to voice this game. I like to finance this game. I like to sell this game. To keep in mind, as we talked about earlier, gaming as a language means that everybody's involved. So let's take a look. We're going to see. So I built one of the Nigerian 3D visualizer, right? The idea that it took like visual images and gave me understanding. Me as an African American, what might be something from Nigeria, like what do these patterns mean? What do these names mean? So this is one that I built as a GPT partner for me when I'm writing some of my fantasy work. And so do I know that it's true? No. But I have an understanding that it's at least getting information from some space. So this is a way that I personally use it when I'm trying to design and develop. And so it's a 3D artist skilled in Nigerian culture, women's history, and folklore for scalable game concept. That's what I built mine. You can build here to do anything. Right? So let's want to hop ahead, and we're just going to kind of spin through a couple. I know these are going to be quick, and I apologize, but because again, everyone's not here to be a developer. I just want to let y'all understand just what a couple of systems are. And again, these will be part of some of the later slides. So there's some major systems out here. Most are free to get. Is when you get to a certain point, you may have to pay. So just to make y'all aware, Unity is really a very practical but specific service. It's a very generalized. And again, all these have learning concepts and spaces. So for our developers, just want to give like about 3 or 4 that systems that you look at. You can all talk and search, follow up. Happy to do so. Unreal Engine, Unreal makes Fortnite has the larger, I think, scalability right now. If you're into more of the visual effects in Unreal, in its Unreal Engine, it's a great service. Godot or Dot, it's been pronounced about 3 or 4 different ways. This one is probably one if you have no idea about developing, but you want to just start and make something small. I'm going to suggest Godot. Right? And so it's free, it's open source, it's backed by MIT. It's been around for a while, meaning that it's not out to make money, it's out to teach people. And so you can scale 2D and 3D games on it. We're going to use this service here with our time remaining called Ludo. And so Ludo is just what it's very similar to the GPT that we just did. It allowed you to make a game design document. And what that is just simply the way that if you weren't in the room and somebody had to know about the game, who was making it, what does it do, what do you need, that's what you would present to somebody. You present it to an investor, present it to the person you're hiring for marketing. It's basically the idea written down in a understandable way, right? So the second part of this is a workshop. So if you'll go to ludo.ai, or if you're on the phone, you can scan this, just get the information. We're just going to create a real quick game document and just show when you walk out of here today with at least your own personal game ideas. I'm going to do it myself, but this is a free service you can use and at least get a concept of a game, any game that you design, and have that as a service right now. Okay, so I'm going to give that another minute as I kind of close out Canva space here, making sure that people can see us here online. It does show us. That's okay. The next time I come back, I'm bringing 2 screens. We'll pull it down. Not bad. Right? You can try for free, no credit card required. Right? So let me see. I'm just going to just try for free. I'm not even going to log in. I'm going to do it the same way y'all are. We're going to give everybody about 2 minutes to register. Right? And like I said, Google is your friend. You can make one. I'll probably go ahead and sign anyway. Okay. Right. All right, so we're going to go to Game Ideator when folks are in here. So we're going to get there. So I'm going to start back over, right? So I'm at the home screen. You may not have a home screen. You may just be here. Right, so these are some generator sets that I worked on. But the idea is that you'll be on a main screen. So under the purple dog, we're going to go to Game Ideator. Again, what we say AI is perfect is ideation. All right. And so we came up with a concept, we being everywhere, right? So now I'm going, you see me going back, hopefully. And all I'm doing is copying and pasting, right? copy, go back here. Because what I'm doing here is I'm just going to generate an idea, right? And I'm going to tell it to create a FIFA mobile game. I don't have to put clone because I'm not talking to the clone. You know, I'm making a FIFA mobile game with players based off your portfolio. I can put in some other keywords. I'm just going to keep it simple for time. We just talk again. The more you put in, the more specific, the more intentional you can be. We'll get there. And see, I got my filters here. I can use. I want it mobile. I can pick the art style. They want to animate manga. I think that's cool. The perspective or the way that people interact with it. You want it as first person, third person, over shoulder. I think a first person would be interesting. But what do I have? Huh? Actually, right? So, you know, that we can afford this. So this is the ideation phase. Everything is open. So we're going to make a casual, right? I want it to be fun. It's not, it could be arcade, right? And we can be family friendly. And so got our genres, like what types of games are these? What platform do you play on? What art style? What perspective? Let's go get started. Okay. That's tracking mine, so I generated a game idea. I'm happy to do that. And so it's going to is writing like the copy that you would see on the back of the back of the box, or what you would see on the website. And then what it's doing now is it's researching other games so we can compare and tell me how good this idea is. If there's something like it. Here you go. So now it's giving me this whole docket, right? So look at it, it actually made the image, right? So I came in here with just a random idea, right? It gave me 3 games I can develop. I can make a Risha's Kickoff, a Riki Strikers, or Risha Frenzy, right? It's already there. So, and it's giving me kind of like the market temperature. Like, okay, this isn't really that dynamic the way this is. This one seems okay, but this is a white hot idea right here. And so, you know, players control teams for the folklore inspired characters, each with unique magical abilities and a fast paced arcade style mobile soccer game. That's exactly what it was saying now. It gave me a score, told me what some similar games like Temple Run, you might have heard Temple Run, or Subway Surfers, right? So it's like, okay, here's some games that are just like this. Here's some similar games that already exist. So I can go and I can develop this idea. So if you were CEO, which one would you develop? Which one? Okay, the hot one. Okay, that's fair. All right, so let's develop this idea, right? So I can choose my customs. We're going to create a concept. All right, so now my score went from 43, right? And it's telling me how the chart dominance, what potential is the trend. You know, is this a new idea? Is this creative? Again, this is all speculative. You want to take this and ask other people. This is the point. Right? This is a computer saying, okay, based off all the information I can pull, where it is. So we're going to develop this one, Risha Frenzy. Right? So at 69, look at that trend potential. Like it's, you know, indicates the game's likelihood to become a rapidly rising star in the near future. Right? So what we're saying, like, okay, Nita, we're gonna ask you to fund us on this, but look at our potential, like this is what we can do as an impact. Right? And so we got trends, and we got all these games that now we can say, well, how much the Secret Neighbor make? How long did it take to develop? Who was the team on this? Do I know somebody that worked there? What country are they from? Right? And so I'm gonna develop that. That's it. So now I can go in and copy this. And I'll make sure that we have everybody else online as well. What's that? Yes.
They're really good at from.
It is wrong.
Yeah.
You can, yeah. You can go back in and put in, yeah, there you go. So just click on it. What would you add?
I just don't even know where, because I didn't know how it's from.
Oh yeah, it stays here as a space. You can add some addendums if you want, you know. But then you just click on it and just go right back to it. Right? And so it again, this is for you to just very easily, you know, copy and paste, right? So now I can just send this. We can send this out. You know, I can send this to people on Slack and be like, "Hey team, this is a new idea. I got a concept. What do y'all think?" Right? I can just copy and paste this, add this into, you know, my other space. I can use this as a standard idea and generate some more variants of it, which I just did. Right? And I can then take this information and go back to everyone and be like, be more specific on code that would give us this result. It's just back and forth, this iteration. We got about a couple of times. So now let's see. And this gets right into, you know, where some other space is. So now we got complement information. Right now we've got all these, you know, we have these other versions and variants of it. Right? That again, it just makes perpetual ideas. And again, I mean, they're good ideas, but they need that they're ideas that you can start with and put the human activities. So I'm gonna just take a couple minutes to just share a couple of last slides. I'm gonna skip through before I do for the game idea, right? You just keep doing this and you just take out the pieces that you want. Right? And as you say, you know, you develop this idea, you got the information, you got images, you've got a design document to start. What's that? You can copy it. You can pay and have different features to more deeply download and integrate. You know, you can generate images for it. You can do more of that, but that takes more of the paid services. But yes, you can. Right? So the idea is like you can just copy this text, right? For free. You just copy it and make a Google Doc. Control V. There was a tag, yes. But I'm saying like to get a deeper document, you can make a paid version and get like all of it there. If you got time, you know, you could just copy and paste everything. But I'm just saying like it's just an idea to just be able to get like this as a space, right? So then if I go back to everyone and say, can you do this? Yeah. Yeah. Right, so all I did, so I'll do this and then we'll go to just a couple of slides to close out. So I'll and have the conversation. Can you update your thoughts based on this design as far as needed code and technology? That's control based, right? Hit enter. Again, why you want to keep you as you can see handy, right? And so now it's a better understanding, right? That it's team management, it's puzzle solving, it's arcade. And so it's going through and looking at like what are some of the points. Now it's updating the game loop. And what I would do with what she said here, I'll put it right back in the game system. And just go back and forth until I got exactly what I want. Or just use this and again give it to someone else. Right? So now we got puzzle solving mechanics and these other components. Because I did take it to something else. But the idea is, you know, now it's like tell me about networking partnerships. Like maybe I need to be in Lego Startup Week with this. And now it's like more and more conversation. It's like us talking, like we're learning more that we're talking about. To tell me the banks I can approach, you know, now we can need to saying, okay, now here's where you want to go. Apply for grants from the Tony Aluminum Foundation. And you know, all based off of this, off of the information I got from another AI. And this is what I'm saying. Like someone's going to make this back and forth, you know, work in a more automated and usable system. And I mean, it exists. But yeah, it went back. She rewrote some of the code. So again, now I've got like updated code that would help with like the symbol matching and these other components. Yeah, and it's still going. So, so I want to kind of give a space to conclude on get past the code, get past the game, and just say yourself as an entrepreneur, particularly in the creative technology space. Because as you see, everyone has access to the technology. Ideas are plentiful, but what is not is work. You still have to do the work, you still have to be the human, and you still have to interact with other people. This is where the future is going to come from. So that you see, now we can just have a computer do some of the hard labor, but what you do with this after it's done is really where the future comes from. And so I'm going to let this kind of go. We're right to it. Again, got questions in the chat about anything? I'm going to go ahead and just move forward into like some of the last components here. See, I'm going to share these two slides here with you. We're just going to kind of, we'll just get right to the end. That's no word. So, if I were starting a business completely off AI by myself, what are the 10 programs I would use? Right? We can think this out. So, focus on OpenAI. So I'll take our time, and again, you're going to end up getting all of this as an email a bit later. So let's see if I can get this in. Let's see if this will work. All right, so if I had to just use AI myself and I had to build a business by myself, these are the 10 things I would do. Right? Your Google and Gmail account is your best friend. Right? So because Google, if nothing else, will build something data. Everyone uses Google everywhere in the world. So get a Google email account, it's free. Canva, you do design layouts, like I did a presentation, QR code you're about to see, the website, all these other parts. I have a designer in Canva, he has AI. Job form, the customer structure. Same way that I'm going to ask for your information at the end of this. It'll be a job form. You're going to send me your information. Not only will I be able to send you the doc and the deck from here, but now I have you as a customer, right? So when I get ready to launch this game, I can say, get ready for a reach a strike. If you want to pre-order this for $4.99, right? So now I'm building my customers at the same time. Wix would be a website. The information that all of my information sits is a space that can only be found, not only be found online, but again, that we're able to do some of these other components. I use rasa.io. You can use things, I don't know that MailChimp is everywhere in the world, so try to also think of very generic, general, and free programs. Rasa.io helps with that email marketing. So once I get all your emails, then I can send this information out to you automatically with updates. Let you know how I'm doing, how my games are doing, how my books are doing, all other ways you can stay connected with my business. Zapier, because you're gonna have all these tabs open like I do, and you're gonna have to know what's going what in which way. So to give you a better task and applications, to just know where your business is, Zapier plugs into a lot of different programs. And then Shopify. If I were thinking Shopify, we don't even have anything yet, right? That image that I generated, I could take that to someone, have a real human version of that made, and then put it on a t-shirt and sell it as a pre-order. I'm marketing my shirt. You know, if you want to support me, why don't you buy this shirt? Right? Why don't you buy this plushie? Why don't you buy this mug? Right? You can use Shopify to not only build that, but you can sell your marketing service. Okay, you need a game design idea? $50. You know, I can help you with that. And you can use that as a service on Shopify. So Shopify for direct commerce is a good one. And then YouTube. I mean, I'm on social media, but not much. But the thing I use every single day is YouTube. Not only for education, you get to learn all of this and more. Someone's always making the content that you need, particularly for education. You know, we got to be mindful whether things are right, but tutorials and processes, YouTube is great. And it lets you document your process. Upwork, because not everybody knows everybody that they need all the time. You know, you need a developer. You need someone to write your business plan. You know, once you get all these nice documents and stuff in place, use Upwork. pay a person, hold them accountable, and have them do the real world work that you need. And they probably can do it a lot more affordable when in your time and having the other person. And then lastly, we can talk about the legal. Legal Zoom seem to work in about every country right now. I'm sure there's a local variant version. I say legal Zoom just meaning that you can outsource your legal business development, your contracts that you have with other vendors, being able to take your intellectual property. I mean, legal Zoom probably. So just to say like these are like, if you're starting up a game studio right now, these are like 10 cheap, if not 3 ways that you could pretty much have everything. So we're running out of time, but I want to here for a little bit more time. But I want to thank y'all for playing first. The main thing that I really get a chance to talk to, but I'll give it 2 minutes, is as amazing as all these systems are, the real opportunity is in this room too. Because what you all know as local people, local source of knowledge, local culture, and local talent, this system can't do it. So I wouldn't tell everyone, I'll tell everyone, don't be dismayed. Don't think, oh, there's no need to code because the thing can code. It can't fix the code. It can't draw the cultural hair, the right shade of pigment. It doesn't know the local history. Like if Google Maps doesn't have your street on the map, it doesn't exist. But it exists if you walk down that street, right? You're there. This is the part where we're saying like blackness, particularly because these systems and all that data we said that they were getting, it doesn't include us for the most part. So this is an advantage and an opportunity when you're trying to build and develop these services that particularly of being a space that has amazing talent everywhere that may not be connected with the technology. As the technology now is trying to connect with you, you now have a valuable resource, which is agency. Most other people, cultures, and spaces don't have that. We all know that Africa is extremely young and getting younger by the moment. And that expectation, of course, by 2040, by 2050, that 1 out of 4 people would be of African descent, in Africa. And think of where this technology is going to be 20, 30 years. Well, now that's a whole other conversation, but at the same time, you're thinking specifically about the people now and the youth being able to have access to this. You literally can ideate any job that you're into right now, and there's no rule to say that you can't. So the idea is to use your cultural experience, your expertise, your stories, and your culture and your language that's not in this system and make your own thing. This is what you can do. But if you didn't know the area name and you do, that's something that's an advantage, right? These are the things we have to think about when we look at these systems. Don't get overwhelmed by how easy it is to copy and paste stuff. Look at what's not there. We're not there by design. So now we get to design our next future. Same way that you imagine yourself being a part of this is how you get to build that future that everybody gets to be a part of. So lastly, about me and about myself and my studio, the work that we do with SUBSUME and what we're looking at doing not only with our local work in Atlanta, Georgia, but here in Lagos and forward, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. All my personal information is here. Again, knowing that we're very thankful for the time and consideration for everybody. I'm going to make a resource guide. It's going to be all this information that we'll send based on the questions and reporting. We'll make sure that everybody gets everything that we shared so far and anything that we can think of between here and there. So we know lastly that we came through this as the premise of gaming and game design. So the idea is really the game of life, right? You get a chance to really to design yourself as the champion of this next phase. So we'll make sure that ourselves, that everyone, technology, ideas notwithstanding, that everybody has a shot. Right now is about as even as it's ever going to be. So I'm hoping that you'll take this time and opportunity to work with each other. Just understand that you're the most precious resource moving forward, which is culture. Thank you all so very much.
Can we put us together for the hearing? Thank you, John. Probably want to sit for a moment. So, this is the time for the interactive section. I don't know whether you have any question, any comment. Do we have developers in the room? Anybody is developing space? Just put your hands up. Okay. You want a mail per month? Then you can get a mail per month. Okay. So if you have anything to chime in, this is time for you to interact with me. A question is opportunities for you. You just show by raising your hands, and then we pass the mic to you. Anybody? All right. Please introduce yourself fully. I can see your face.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alan. Thank you for the presentation. So I run like a tech company where we do a lot of training for people. I'm also a US government exchange alone. Okay, so I was trying out the GPTs. I created one or two or so. So I just want to ask a question. If it has the feature for adding triggers or topics, just like we have it in Microsoft Copilot Studio.
It does? Thank you. Perfect. Thank you so very much. And so to clarify the question is information, and we'll make sure I'm clarifying that the information that you're putting into it, is there a way to make sure that it's excluding and looking for the bias of information? Is that right?
We like triggers or so that you can just so if I say something, maybe then do something else, or send my feedback in a particular form somewhere, maybe pull record from SharePoint.
Got you. Yes, I think at least in the current sense that it does have a capability where you can, like, you can outsource your information to like an Excel document or some other spaces there. Now, I don't know exactly how all of those would work, but there's like a myriad of those. But what you'll end up doing is probably using the GPT library to make that as an addendum or an add to one of the GPTs that you build. So now that's a good and fair question. So the idea is, again, to make it more actionable at that space. So be able to export, be able to collaborate in that space. So the idea of like building it into a website. So like the Wix GPT may then be the plugin that you add to then build that into that workflow.
Thank you.
No, thank you. That's a good question.
Any other person? Don't be shy.
Oh, and I did have an addendum to one of the things, questions again online, what have you. I'm happy to pull up and take. And I also just wanted to say, because I didn't get a chance to get to that slide, is please don't think that there's not already game developers like Oscar and Kamake, please stand, right? So before I knew anybody here in Lagos, I reached out to Oscar online as a fellow developer. I'm like, why y'all over here doing? And so I have a program on SUBSUME Summits, and we're talking about game development in Africa. But the idea is like, I'm a fan, right? The work's already here. So I also want to don't make it to seem like there are not people here locally y'all can't support, work around, and galvanize, because it absolutely is. And I think as an African American, we see it, but sometimes you don't see where you actually are. Likewise, I think we can only see maybe outside our own boat and scope sometimes. So spaces like Afro Comic Aid, like IGDA or the Independent Game Development Association, I know there's one here in Nigeria. I looked at their Facebook page. Likewise, you can go to like a Lagos Comic Con, which was just this last week, right? The idea is thinking of the spaces that you want to be, going there actively building and supporting with those that are already working on it. That's also your best case scenario. And you're also thinking of, lastly, I think there's a brother in Abuja, AC, and I'm going to butcher his name, like AD Pod. They're going to tabletop games. That's also the same facet and capacity to build and develop in a sense. And I keep going back to gaming because that's one of the main things that no matter your language, people understand. People understand music, people understand games, people understand food, they understand love, they understand pain. There's like very basic language of humans. Gaming being one that technology has a chance to put in a place that it's never been. Like I'm very big on games. And again, y'all got a talent. Talent's here. We want to collaborate. Those spaces here. So just to say, support what you want to see.
Any other questions, comments? I thought it really was.
I just want to say thank you for this presentation and thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Hi everyone, my name is Fancy Luajabi. I'm actually a therapist. I came from my sister. She has a card game, like a dating card game, and she wants to make it an app. So I was very inspired by the information that you shared with us. But I wanted to ask, not necessarily relating to AI and gaming, but I also like games like Assassin's Creed, God of War, and so basically my question was, I checked out your Instagram page and I saw that like people invite you to like speak and like MTV and stuff like that. So I wanted to ask you about how you built your brand and built your business and how did you like liaise with all these multinationals? Yeah, that's my question.
It's fair.
How do you get to Nigeria?
Oh, absolutely. That's fair. You know, sometimes it's being in the right place at the right time. Sometimes it's dumb luck. But just to be honest, it's just doing the work. It was the clip where you saw me on CNN wasn't because I was famous. It was because I was the only one. I won't say the only one, but I was one of the few people that were thinking about how Black heritage looked in virtual reality. And of course, when the pandemic happened, we had this idea of the metaverse where everybody wanted to be online. You had to be because you couldn't go to your friend's house, you couldn't leave your house. There was no food. The whole world had the same issue at the same time. And so when people were thinking about well, how Black people going to make it in the future, I was one of the few people as a game developer that was so specific about when you play an Assassin's Creed, why there's not a Black person in the main, right? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Why is there not a Black person as the main character? Why is there not a Black woman as the main character? Right. The idea is that a lot of times for those things that I wanted to see, I wasn't default. And so it was just making that and just making that just as a fan because I wanted to see it. And it just so happened when the time came to talk about it that I was ready. And and even after that, it still was a while before I think the second part called on, which was artificial intelligence. Then I'd always been talking about the idea that comic books and video games should talk to each other, right? I know that all these things mean the same thing. The technology just wasn't there, but eventually it was. By 2018 to 2019, right after the pandemic, or right as that started, all the stuff just started to be in the right place at the right time. So to really answer that, I don't have an agent. I just show up to places and start talking. And so in a good way, it also was, like I was saying, about support what you want to see. You want to be in the places you want to be. So if you're a therapist, the idea is going to conferences, going to build your, not necessarily social media capital, but like your LinkedIn capital. Like the people that you want to be talking to, you should be 1 degree separated from them. And that's to now say we're in such a space of misinformation that what cuts through that is the work. So like you're a great therapist or you're great in your role and you're in your craft, then you're a resource. But yes, everybody can make a GPT, but they can't make a you. And so once you're that person and you can come out and you can show the work, you're an incredible valuable commodity. But we're getting more and more to the space you can't tell what's real and what's not. And so that's just keep being yourself, keep doing the work. It takes a while. And there's definitely and I won't even say the money never comes, but it is so few and far between as an independent consultant, particularly if you're doing something, frankly, around the Black experience, not because we can't afford it, we can't have it, but we know systems are designed so that that's not successful. And so we see that worldwide, but also we see the triumph when we do get the fair shot, when we do get our stake, that we succeed unlike anybody else. And so that's why that is why you have. But all the answer to say that the to is you just gotta keep going. You gotta do it if you want it. The rest of it is easy when you get that. I don't think. Thank you. Apologies for people are probably cutting folks off literally visual. Let's see here. Yes. Yes. Yes, okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. There was a note about, if you're wanting to start on game development, and you have questions, could you convey them to me? Absolutely, I'm happy to. And then likewise, I would love to be, as I was sharing maybe earlier, some of the resources that are already here more localized, I definitely want to make sure we're highlighting, putting in the space of contact with their permission as well, like African Comic Cave, and like IGDA and other spaces. So yes, not a personal question or direct question, I'm open to that as well. But I'll definitely make sure that, from a strictly game development standpoint, if there's something I can help with, I'm happy to do so.
So for those of you at home, we thank you for joining us today. Thank you very much. We'd like to appreciate all the directors as well. So bye-bye to you. We're cutting you off now. Bye.